Hey, what's going on? I'm Apprentice Demond, and in today's video, we're going to do a review on Gatorade's water. Alright, so let's go ahead and get this opened up. And many people have been asking me about Gatorade's water. Like, hey, we need you to test this, right? And in the past, I think I tested Propel, and it didn't come out that good. And Gatorade, I believe, owns Propel, so we'll see how this water comes out. Let's see if this is what the athletes are drinking. And we're going to be comparing it to this electrolyzed reduced water. You're seeing how well these two do against each other. Alright, so that first test we were doing is on antioxidants, and this is the most important test of all of them we're doing today. Is because we have these things around us known as free radicals. And they come in and they take the electrons from our healthy cells. Okay, they are everywhere. And when it happens, that creates two things: oxidation and inflammation. And those two things are linked to every single health disease known to man. Any type of itis that you're thinking of, bronchitis, tendonitis, plantar fasciitis, these are things that athletes don't want, that really no one wants, okay? And so we desire antioxidants because they have an abundance of electrons. And when we consume those, it actually helps lower that oxidation, reduce that inflammation, and keep us looking young and youthful. So how do we test for this? We're going to use this meter right here, right? So when we put this wand in the water, if we get a positive number, that means it's creating more oxidation, inflammation, and dis-ease in the body. If we see a negative number, that means it's a strong antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, and it's going to be great for keeping us looking young, okay? So let's see what we get here with Gatorade's water. What are we seeing? Oh boy. Alright, so we are seeing a positive 200, okay? So that means this is oxidizing. This is creating more oxidative stress in the body. And once again, if you're an athlete, you don't want those kinds of problems. You want to be able to stay on the field, you want to stay on the court doing the most, alright? Whoa, that went up to 240. Looks like Gatorade's trying to do the most right here. Let's see how this electrolyzed reduced water stacks up. And look at that. See that dash? I can barely see it's a dash, but it's showing a negative 731 and it's still going down, right? So this is a really strong antioxidant. And once again, being an athlete, this is what you want to make sure that you're out there longer and performing at a longer rate. So there you have it. That concludes the first test on antioxidants. Let's go ahead and jump into our next one. Alright, our second test is all about alkalinity. And we all know that sickness and dis-ease cannot thrive in an alkaline environment, okay? And that sickness and disease really loves being in an acidic environment, okay? So we really want to ensure that our cells, our blood maintains alkalinity, okay? And we're going to do that no matter what. Our blood's going to maintain at 7.365, but are we consuming things that's helping it or harming it, okay? If we are consuming things that are acidic, then guess what? Our blood is going to start taking those minerals, those electrolytes from us, okay? So what we're going to do here is add these pH drops to both of the waters. If we see a red or orange or yellow, that means it's acidic and it's forcing our body to take those minerals from us. If we see a blue or purple or dark purple, that means it's alkaline and it's actually promoting good health, okay? So let's put a few drops in each, see what we get. 5. All right, and of course, no surprise here. Well, maybe a little bit of a surprise, but Gatorade is showing up alkaline. There it is. It is showing up around an 8 on a scale, while the electrolyzed reduced water is showing up maybe a 10, maybe a 9, 9.5, something like that. All right, so when I see this, if you're new to this channel, make sure you subscribe. But when I see this, I want to test the alkalinity. I want to see how strong it is at battling acidity, okay? If it's really strong, really good, then it won't change color when I blow into it, okay? I'm going to literally give it acidity. And then if it's not that good, it's going to drop down a little bit. But if it's fake, if it's pretending, then it's going to turn acidic, okay? And that just shows that's not that great at promoting and get rid of acidity that we consume, okay? So let's blow into Gatorade and see what we get here. Like I'm expecting this to turn yellow and it didn't turn. Huh! There's something going on with this. I don't know. Let me see. I'm actually shocked. Let's take a look at the ingredients. It's still an 8. So let's look at this, alright? Purified water, purified by reverse osmosis, and it's still looking like right now I'm blown away because once again, if you've been on this channel, just about every water that we've looked at that's been reverse osmosis is filled with artificial minerals, right? So what ends up happening is when we give it acidity, it turns yellow like pretty quick, and I'm blown away right now. So Gatorade Water is on something. let's see what they have here. This sodium phosphate, sodium bicarbonate. I'm used to sodium bicarbonate because that's baking soda, right? And then monopotassium phosphate. So it looks like we have some new ingredients here. So just to share, normally your reverse osmosis, they rip everything out of the water, all the good and the bad, and normally the water is a scavenger, and then they have to add in inorganic minerals to get it alkaline again. It looks like they're being added here, but they're not the same ones that we are used to seeing on bottled water. Normally you see something like calcium chloride, normally you see magnesium sulfates, like those kinds of things, but they're on some new stuff here, and it's having the water look the same. So I don't know what to say. I'm blown away. But let's check out this electrolyzed reduced water, which doesn't have anything added, by the way. But let's see what happens here. And this one doesn't change either, right? So this stays the same color. I am blown away that I think this is the first time ever where you had a reverse osmosis water that's not acidic. So I don't know if it's the ingredients that they're using. I don't know if they misbranded it and say reverse osmosis and it's not. But right now, Gatorade Water, despite the acidity I gave it, is still alkaline. But nonetheless, still shows up at 8, which is awesome. The electrolyzed reduced water maintained at 9.5. Like, I'm still blown away, but let's go ahead and jump into the next test. Alrighty, on to our next test. This one I like to call superior hydration, and I'm still blown away. But even though something is alkaline, we want to make sure it's actually able to get into our cells and actually hydrate us at a cellular level, okay? If the water isn't the right size, it's not going to be able to get through the phospholipid bilayer, which is that layer around our cells to actually bring in nutrients, help fire up the ATP, which is going to give us more energy, and help get rid of cellular waste. Okay, so our water actually needs to be a good size. And normally if it's too big, it just sits in the stomach, right? And no athlete wants to be trying to run around with a lot of water just sitting in your stomach. There's no way you're getting things done. So how do we test that? We are going to make tea, all right? So this tea bag is going to represent that phospholipid bilayer, and we're going to see if we can make tea, right? So what we're going to do here is, I don't know, I'm a little nervous because Gatorade has surprised me today, but nonetheless, what we're going to do is we're going to pour both of these waters over the tea, and then we're going to give it 10 dunks and see how well it makes tea. And that gives us a visual representation of how well this water is able to hydrate us. All right, so let's go ahead and pour in. Yep, let's go ahead and do that. Try to make sure it's a good height. do the same thing with this electrolyte reduced water. Alright. So, let me give these both 10 dunks and we'll see what happens. Alright. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, so the way this is looking, Gatorade is still looking the same as other waters. It's getting a little darker, right? So I'm giving it more dunks just to see if it changes. It's looking pretty good as far as the tea goes. So it looks like Gatorade has definitely been in the department of trying to improve their water, right? So it is a little bit, I would say it's darker than a lot of other waters, but it's definitely not as dark as this electrolyte reduced water, which means there's just more of those molecules of the water clusters that are bigger, right? That's all that means. Electrolyte reduced water, like literally reduced down to like its smallest form, so it's able to do this a lot better. So let's see what happens now. Always like doing this portion. I'm curious to see what happens when we take just a little bit of tea, right? And let's see, we're just a little bit dehydrated. We're using just a little bit of the creatine or the proteins or the BCAAs that we're taking, right? And we use this water as a vehicle to help get that nutrients throughout the body, right? How well does it perform? So let me go ahead and see what happens here. See if this dilutes it. Yeah, I would say it looks the same as your standard bottled water in that regard. Let's see what happens with the electrolyte reduced water. Wow, right? So if you're taking those BCAAs, if you're taking all those supplements and things to improve performance, the right water is going to actually help make that happen a lot better. Okay, so I'm just showing you right now. We're able to get that just a little bit greener with the little space I had left with just a little bit of water. So there you have it. That concludes this test. Let's go ahead and do a quick recap of what we've tested so far. Alright, we tested Gatorade Water. We tested for 3 things. The first one was antioxidants, and we saw that Gatorade Water was oxidizing. It was sitting around a positive 200 and it was still rising, while the electrolytes reduced water showed up around a negative 730, right? Making it a strong antioxidant, okay? So that's the first test. The second test we did was on alkalinity, and we put the pH drops in both of the waters. Gatorade showed up as an 8. Electrolyte reduced water showed up between a 9 and a 10, and so I gave them acidity. I gave them the stankest breath I could have gave, right? And for some reason, like, I'm blown away. Gatorade, despite being reverse osmosis water, held its alkalinity. Like, it maintained that 8. And then when we looked at the ingredients, we saw that there was a little bit more to this water than the normal ingredients that you see on bottled waters, right? When we blew into the electrolyte reduced water, it maintained that 9.5, right? The last test we did was on superior hydration, and we saw that Gatorade water hydrates about the same, a little bit better than your traditional bottled waters, while the electrolyte reduced water, though, made a darker, bolder tea, okay? So there you have it. Gatorade has been in the lab. They're creating some new ingredients for minerals in their water, and it's keeping that alkalinity. Unfortunately, still oxidizing. It's not able to hydrate as well. So, I don't know. I'm curious about what's going to happen with those minerals over time, because I don't think I've seen those in a water yet. So I'm curious about how that's going to impact performance as well. But there you have it. There's my review. Thank you for the recommendation. If there's a water you want me to test that I haven't done yet, let me know in the comments down below. And if you're serious about improving your health, maximizing physical performance, you may want to check out the masterclass I have on this electrolyte reduced water. It goes deeper than just this water. It talks about all kinds of water. And you can find that link in the description of this video or the first pinned comment in the comments section. All right. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.